So a couple of weeks ago, precisely at the beginning of May, I challenged myself to complete all of my series that I am part of the way through, and that's my TBR for May. This is my halfway point check-in. Technically, today's date is Friday the 8th of May. It is 4 p.m. New Zealand Standard Time, and I'm going to go until it is 4 p.m. on Sunday. So I've got lots of reading, and I'm really intrigued to just see how much I can actually get done. I've never ever dedicated this length of a time to reading. I have finished 4 books so far. One of them was a big one. It was China Rich Girlfriend, and that was a bit of a slog to get through, but I'm back on track. I'm 20% through Kingdom of Ash, which is the last book in the Throne of Glass series, and I am leaving it up to you guys to decide what I'm going to do for some of the things during this readathon. So we're still in self-ISO, so you're probably not going to see me doing anything all that interesting. So it's just going to be reading. The first option I gave to you guys was if I'm to continue reading Kingdom of Ash or to choose a new book. So let's have a look. The results are in. New book. You know what that means. Spin the wheel time. Let's go. I'm just going to balance this set on my knees. Let's see what the new prompt is. By a colour. Alright, we're still wobbly, but we're just gonna live with it. Lowest rated. Let's have a quick look on Goodreads and see what that one is. I'll throw what I'm looking at up here now. So if I go to literal TBR shelf, lowest one is 4.36 is the highest, and the lowest is a Animal Rising book. Technically I'm only up to book number 2, so it looks like I'm going to be making a start on that one. The 100-page mark of Silence of the Lambs, which means I'm about a quarter of the way through. It is 7 o'clock. Granted, I haven't read as much as I wanted to, but I did have to stop and we went and got a burger. But I am going to continue on now with Kingdom of Ash. This one so far going well. Still waiting for the real mystery to kick in though. But I'm trying to figure out what to say and it's hard. So as of right now, I am up to chapter 21 of Kingdom of Ash, and I'm finding it really hard to get invested in the story, if I'm being honest with you. Each chapter is from a different character perspective, and it's meaning that the story has this disjointed feel, and because how do I word it? And as a result of that, I'm just not feeling very invested. I hope that changes in the next 100 pages though. We'll see. It's just gone 10 o'clock and I feel like this is potentially the most boring vlog ever, so I apologise. But I did just get to chapter 48 of Kingdom of Ash, and I think things have picked up now considerably. We are now in the midst of the massive war that's going on, and the flitting between the characters has reduced, so I'm actually able to be in the moment a lot more. The chapters are only 5 pages long sometimes, so it really felt like I was going from literally one side of the world to the other. But now we're in the thick of it. My plan is to stay up till 1 AM at least, if I can make myself, and keep reading until then, and then tomorrow I'll be up early, because the plan from there is to make myself tire out even further. So when it comes to Sunday, I am so tired, I have to go to bed really early and wake up at 6 in the morning naturally, and bada bing bada bum, I'm hoping my sleeping pattern will be back to normal. But for now, I was debating going back to the Silence of the Lambs, but I think I'm going to stick with Kingdom of Ash since it's gotten good again for me. Good morning, it is Saturday and it is 8:30 and it is the earliest I have gotten out of bed for at least 5 weeks, and I am feeling it. But this is good because it means that when I stay up really late tonight and then get up really early tomorrow, hopefully my sleeping patterns will reset a bit. I do have some sustenance. I've got my chocolate cupcake here for breakfast because health, actually more accurately because I got it 5 minutes ago and just grabbed the first thing I could see. I'm going to go to my partner's job with him today and help him out just so he's not lonely, and but also just do lots of reading. As you saw, I got decently hi guys, people are like just looking at me awkward. How do people vlog in public? I did get way further through Kingdom of Ash last night, more than I anticipated, so it really picked up, and because everything has now gotten to a point where there's only like 2 or 3 main points of action, all the perspectives aren't really throwing me off at all, so that's good. Dude, just stop looking at me. I'm chatting to a video. So that's where I'm at right now. I have my tablet and I have my charger in case I run out of charge. So I'll see you when I see you next. Hey guys, so it is midday now. So I've been reading for 3 hours and I've made it to page 90. I think I'm just going to push through and finish this. It's right in the middle of all the gory action and I almost just cried. Some of my favourite characters, well, it's war, so I won't say anything more than that. You can imagine what happens. I do still have to admit though that like some characters are cropping up and I can't remember who they are. Like I was saying earlier, there's just so many of them and it's just freaking confusing to remember everyone's backstory. Maybe this is a series which you really need to read in close succession, like 1 a month, just so you remember everyone and every other little plot that's going on in the background. I honestly didn't think I would have gotten this far. I thought it would be way slower reading, but I am very pleasantly surprised, and I have about, how many pages? 200 pages left. So I'm just gonna go like plonk myself back down on the couch and finish it, hopefully. Why? Those 2 pages just wrecked me. Ah! So I finished it. It is 3:30 now, so it has taken me the better half of 6 hours, 5 hours to finish it. So what are my thoughts? Well, firstly, it is long and you can definitely feel it. I definitely had to break it up. So whilst I was reading this, the first break I actually finished Sheena McGuire Wayward Children's story. That was actually yesterday before the readathon started, and then obviously last night I took a break. So I think the beginning took me a while to get really hooked into that point where that was the only story I wanted to be reading about. In the last half it was definitely better. It became more of like an omniscient narrator at times, just following certain characters in the same environment. I am going to go into a few little spoilery things here, so skip ahead if you want. I did think some things were a little bit predictable, like everyone knew that Selena was definitely going to survive and find a way to lock all of those portals without sacrificing her life. There were little surprises though that were really nice, like Dorian's dad coming back and how Dorian actually got his name. And I definitely didn't see Irene being like the saviour person. Hello, truck. And I knew Irene was going to have like a pretty important role, but I didn't realise quite how important. So that was quite nice to see her from the previous book really having a prominent position in this one. I am a bit torn in half about the ending of the book in terms of, you know, everyone's happy ever after and everyone getting married and coronation. It just felt a little bit really redone. I don't have any better suggestions. I'm not an author. I don't know what could have been done in its place, but I feel like yes, it was good, it was left in a place of hope, but it almost seemed unrealistic that many people would have survived. So what are my thoughts on the series as a whole? I definitely think Throne of Glass book 1 was my favourite. I just loved the whole assassin kind of competition thing that happened. Sorry for all the traffic in the background. But from there I definitely think it went downhill until it hit Tower of Dawn, which is my second favourite and is at book 5 in the series. And then this last one I think was a good culmination to it all. But you know, overall it was a decent YA fantasy series. I don't think it's one that I will reread, especially not anytime soon, because it is really long. And I do suggest if you haven't started this series, you plan so that you read 1 book every month or something, so that you don't forget who everyone is. But with that being said, it is still readathon time. I am still going to keep going, and I'm going to continue on with Silence of the Lambs before I get home. We'll see if I can finish that one today as well. That's my goal. That is my goal. I'm back being a sloth on the couch. It is now 7:30 and I have just reached halfway of Silence of the Lambs and I've gotten to like the real nitty-gritty parts. Hannibal is definitely a bigger presence in this book than the first one, which to be honest is the whole reason I'm reading this series in the first place. I do find it very interesting that you see the dual perspectives in here like you do in Red Dragon, where the dual perspective side of it comes in like a third of the way through the book, so you're already really connected to the main character before then seeing the murderer's perspective and sometimes the victim's perspective in the case of this one, which I think is a really good way to do dual perspectives because, as I have mentioned multiple times already, sometimes it can get overwhelming, but this way you have a very clear sense of world and plot and what's going on without having too many characters involved. And for an 80s book, it was written in the 80s, wasn't it? Let me check. First published in 89, so still an 80s book. I think Harris does a really good job of showing a strong female character without stereotyping her. She's strong, she doesn't take no bull from other people, especially men, and it's clear that she doesn't want to play into her femininity for the sake of getting her way, which I think is really good. It has just gone 10 o'clock and I had a bath and a little bit of chill out and I am got like an hour's worth of reading left. I'm really excited for it. I just love Hannibal. I think he's one of the most, whoa, am I even focused? I think he is one of like the most interesting characters. Not saying like he's a good character, obviously he's like a cannibal, but I just think his character personality is just so cool and it's just so cool. I'm really enjoying it. Also, a haul will be coming soon. Those are books. Whoops. Anyway, this is a cute PJ set, by the way, from beautiful like boutique shop. It's called Kmart and everything is really cheap. You should check it out. Hello, it is almost midnight and I prepared jelly, so I managed to finish the, what's it called? Silence of the Lambs. Can you tell I'm slightly delirious now? Good jelly. It was good. I enjoyed it. 4 out of 5 stars. At times, the victims, is this a spoiler? I don't think it's a spoiler. The victims are chosen for their curves and the terminology that Harris uses in the 80s is would be seen as fat shaming nowadays, so that did make me wince sometimes when I read it, but other than that, cold. But overall I really enjoyed seeing Hannibal a lot more and seeing Clarice, who is the main female training to be detective person, a lot more, and I guess it's time to go spin the wheel for the next book. I've still got a few hours before I completely lose all sense of mind. Got to get my phone out. Legend. I realised that I have a perfectly good table here, so I don't need to try balance it on my knees like I did last time. Right, can you actually see that? There we go. We did lowest rated last time, so that can go off. And the one at the front is translated. I don't actually have any translated on my list, I'm pretty sure, but we'll see what comes up anyway. Right. It keeps landing on green. Babe, I really need to like even this out somehow. Okay, where's my laptop? I really need to even out that wheel though. Goodreads. Okay, let's update the Silence of the Lambs. Review to come when I am slightly less delirious and I can take that off my literal TBR shelf. Let's go to my literal TBR shelf. 19 books left at the moment and go highest rating is okay, The Conjuring of Light, but I need to read book 2 first. So okay, technically they both have a 4.36 and I'm really feeling Like, I want to finish this Folk of the Air trilogy, so I'm gonna go with The Queen of Nothing. Alright. We have reached midnight. How many hours do I have left? How many hours until 4 o'clock on Sunday? Another 24 hours, then another... Wait, this is Saturday. So it's literally Sunday now. Yeah. So I've got 16 hours. Wow, that took way too long to figure out. English teacher, not a maths teacher. That's my excuse every time. 16 hours. If I can get 2 more books finished, I will be pretty stoked. It has just gone 1 a.m. and I just got up to, hello sock drawer, chapter 3. I'm crashing slowly but surely, and although I'm not going to sleep right now, I'm going to keep pushing till I practically fall asleep reading, but I will see you in the morning, hopefully before 8 a.m. Kind of lie to you. I had an alarm on for the morning. Turns out I slept, turned it off or something because it's 10 o'clock. So that plan went out the window a little bit. I also didn't read any more of chapter 3 because I fell asleep straight away, pretty much. So that's okay. That's okay. We're going to carry on. I've got exactly 6 hours, so there's no time to waste. I'm just going to do it. It is currently, what's the time? 11:45, and I've just made it a little bit past halfway of The Queen of Nothing, so chapter 16. And I'm surprised by how much I'm actually enjoying it so far. If you saw my previous reading vlogs, you would have known that I thought King of Nothing, King of whatever book 2's called, it wasn't my favourite. I had issues with the relationship. I decided to keep going with this series because everyone seemed to love it. I'm just surprised at how much I'm liking this one, to be honest. I have a sneaking suspicion it's because the past 2 books I've read have been quite complex and from different perspectives, and this is just like a difference to that. It's much more simplistic writing, much more easier to follow. I'm not confused about who's who. And I think previously the simplicity of it is something that bored me, but right now it's kind of what I'm living for. However, I do still have my issues between Jude and Carden, and like the messages their relationship shows or gives other people, especially if you're a younger audience reading this and thinking that relationship is not toxic, because it has issues. So I finished it and my feelings are very mixed. Like, ow. I think that it was entertaining, but there was just nothing special. Everything was so predictable. And honestly, I think this is just my issue with the entire Folk of Air series, is that I don't think it's anything unique. I think it's quite a classic fairy story, which if that's what you're after, that's great. That's awesome. I'm happy you like it. But for me, it's just a bit too unexciting. I also, out of context, so it won't spoil anything for you, but this cover is very spoilery. I think because it's an e-version for me, I didn't get the spoilers, but I can imagine if it was a physical book and you read 50 pages, put it down, and you constantly see this cover, when you go to pick up the book at a certain point, you'll be able to realise what's going to happen. So that's the thing. Jude and Carden's relationship, I still think, has some issues in that it is very toxic. It's not a healthy relationship. Sure, they're always going back and forth, pretending like sorry for their actions, but at the end, I just don't like how it's handled. It doesn't sit right with me. I wouldn't want to recommend this to young teenagers, especially male or female, however they identify, because it's just not acceptable how they treat each other, and I don't see many people talking about that. There is such a limited amount of trust in their relationship. They are always backstabbing each other. In my opinion, neither of them really does anything to redeem their previous actions. So it seems like it's lust and physical attraction that gets them to where they are a lot of the time. I just doesn't feel right. But I am going to stop there. It is almost 4 o'clock and I do need a break. I've been like frowning like crazy as I've been reading. So just to recap, during this readathon I finished 3 books, which I'm pleasantly happy with in 2 days. One of them being The Kingdom of Ash, which was massive. I managed to finish Silence of the Lambs and obviously Queen of Nothing. So 3 books. If you're still here at this point, I thank you, because I know this has probably been the most boring reading vlog I've ever done. But hopefully the next one will be in level 2, so I'll be out and about a little bit more. I hope you guys are staying safe, and if you want to catch my next video, please consider leaving a cheeky like and subscribe down below. And I hope you enjoy all the places you go in your own reading adventures.